Wow. Yeah, some of you guys may have seen we've had a very interesting announcement this morning, which is the lifting of the bans that were so controversial earlier in the week. And so, yeah, we're going to dive into that. I just want to say, though, right now, if you haven't already, or if this is your first time coming over and you want to join the Unix fam, just get on there, click that subscribe button, like the video, comment. Let's see if we can get this video to 100 likes. And for you guys that really want a deeper take for One Piece, I just started a Patreon where I do videos. My Sakazuki article was like the 12 pager, and we have a purple Luffy article coming up this Friday, as well as a follow-up to Sakazuki, and we'll keep going through OPO5 because this is just the place where I put things that are too long for the videos. But we have this happening here. So I'm not gonna even put it up on screen. We're just gonna talk about it. This is crazy. The actual post says it's a reply, I believe, to the original ban list, and it says, "Thank you for understanding, and we hope our community continues to enjoy the One Piece card game. This ban will be lifted on December 8th, 2023 due to changes in the metagame with the release of OPO5. So what we have here now is the Nami, Dadan, Whitebeard ban, and the Marco limit being reversed. And this has happened for a multitude of reasons. The backlash was considerable. People saying they quit the game because they can't play One Drop Nami. People who are mad that they can no longer play Ace right before Sakaluchi blows it out of the water. Sorry, Ace. Law right before Sakaluchi blows it out of the water. And let's be real, guys, it's not like you wouldn't be able to play Law. You can still play Red Purple Law. But yes, Red Green Law was about to go the way of the dinosaurs with the introduction of OPO5 Lucci. You have people mad that Whitebeard was getting the boot. You have people upset they couldn't play Zoro. To be honest, you guys were kind of ragging me sometimes. Some of you guys are ragging me on my harsh takes and agreements with some of the ban lists. I'm a Zoro main. I love Zoro. And Zoro was about to get put in the dirt because of the Nami ban, the Curly Danan ban. I wasn't over here hating it. Red has had its time in the sun. However, this is now going to be reverted, and the reason for this is because they do feel that next format we have a lack of red dominance next format, according to the Japanese meta, which, let me remind you, was the exact same thing that was supposed to happen in set 4. But I do think that with the introduction of Sakazuki, with the introduction of Purple Luffy, that definitely does have a lot of blockers, and you know, Red doesn't necessarily have the worst time bypassing blockers, but we do have some weird things going on. So let's actually talk about this in its entirety. What things kind of feel a little odd, what things are definitely going to be back on the menu, and yeah, let's talk about these big contenders. So let's switch over to the other view and we'll start it. Alright, so the first and foremost thing is for all you people that scoffed at me when I said Bandai listens too much, you guys need to understand that this is exactly what I mean. I've been playing Dragon Ball Super since set 1. I've watched them go through 20 sets of the game plus. I've watched Dragon Ball move over. Well, not Dragon Ball move over, but I watched Digimon Rise. I've watched One Piece Rise. Bandai listens to their fan base, sometimes to a detriment. And in the case of the bans that happen, as well as the case of the reversion, this is still the case. So when it comes to this, we have a couple winners. We have a couple of interesting losers. So the first thing I want to talk about is Red Green Law. A lot of people were upset that this leader literally got bodied, but I think that a lot of people weren't willing to do the testing, because if you have sat down and played, you found that splicing Wano into Law via the Momonosuke's and whatnot gave you a very spicy list. Between Okiku's tapping everything, between the ability to bypass blockers with some of the things you're playing down on board, still having the ability to search Zoro and Luffy via Bonnie, it was a deck to be contended with, and Law was far from dead. Now, going into the OPO5 format, with the inclusion of Rob Lucci from OPO5 being able to destroy a 2 cost and a 1 cost, and Sakazuki honestly being able to pump that all the way up to 6 costs and 5 costs, very often. The 2-for-1 potential was insane. Law kind of evaporates because that Lucci and Sakazuki having the ability to not only draw into it often, but recycling it using Rebecca slash Menchery. Yeah, it was just a terrible time to be a red-green Law fan. So in these terms, yeah, when we get to OP05, it's not like Law is magically back on the menu, it's just not. Now moving on to Zoro. Now, Zoro's a deck that still could be played in OP05, and people are still tinkering with it, and some people may have even found builds that they definitely like. As a Zoro main, I am happy to know that if I go to play at Nats, this is going to be a deck that I can still test with and see if I want to bring it to the forefront or attempt my best to. So, Zoro gaining Nami and Curly to Dawn back, and even Marco, is going to actually be able to keep it in the game, because Zoro's main function was that low to the ground rush, and then you could add in a nice top end because Sakazuki is very much so able to deal with a bunch of low bodies at the same time. So moving it into the OP05 format, yeah, Zoro may have been dead for this OP04.5 format, but OP05, I think Zoro is very much so a contender that can continue on, very much so. Now, when it comes to this happening, right, us getting into this, with Red not being kerboozled, Enel might actually have a worse time, because Red is another one of those decks that's able to line up multiple attacks very quickly and with the rush mechanic. So Enel was going to go into OP05 with a lack of pressure. All of its pressure essentially came in mid-game from Sakazuki and Purple Luffy, unless you were able to either high roll with Bella Betty or Purple Luffy is able to high roll, because you guys should know by now, and if you don't, pay attention, maybe even hop on my Patreon, shameless plug, for the Purple Luffy article later this week on Friday. But Purple Luffy is able to high roll to a massive degree when you're able to curve into things like turn 2 ulti and page 1, because and then you have 3 swings coming up next turn. Then you can follow it up with like maybe a kid blocker the following turn. On turn 4 you can follow it up with a Kaido 9-drop swing, and then also you just have a lot of bulldozing pressure that a lot of decks have to fumble a little bit to try to stabilize under, or they just simply die the following turn. So with that being said, got a lot going on here, and I do think that Enel is going to be in a weirder position now that the pressure is back in the format. Now moving on to Sakazuki though. Sakazuki is a deck that, honestly, it has no bad matchups. However, having Red back in the format is going to give Sakazuki a point where it still is going to have to worry about early game pressure, because just the way that this game works, especially with global players, we tend to have more aggressive strategies from what I've seen. Like, just look at Whitebeard and its dominance over like combo centric decks like Rebecca, over more control decks like Dofi. We tend to like aggressive strategies more. So make no mistake, Red is still going to be a thing in global, and when Sakazuki does have Rob Lucci, if they get attacked too many times in the early game, the hand can bottom. There are a fair amount of uncounterable cards in that deck, between the Hinas, between the Borsalinos, between the Blaze Hounds, between the Meteor Volcanoes, and the deck can get caught lacking if enough pressure is applied. Not to mention that even if it has 3 blockers up, Red is not the color to sit and look at 3 blockers and be, oh, can't do anything. You could get Luffy or Diablo'd, and then you could just get gamed out. So I think that Sakazuki may not be as dominant over here as it was in the East if Red is still in the metagame and able to ball. So that's going to be an interesting thing. So I think that adding Red here is going to be a shakeup. I think that OPL5 was already kind of shifting to more of a mid-range control format, and I think that now with the bans as they were, it was 100% going to be a mid-game control format. But now that we're moving over to Red being back on the menu, yeah, we are going to see more of a everyman's format all around. We're going to have almost all the colors on deck. Next set, we see black and blue, yellow, and red in there, and purple. The only colors not really at the forefront is green, and you never know, because we might start seeing kids and Kinemans pop up. You just really don't know. So I'm excited to see how this format's going to shape up, and there is so much more to write about. And like I said, even though I was sitting here going, I understand why the ban list is the ban list, I am secretly and very actually openly happy that I am getting my boy Zoro back in time for nationals. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know how you guys feel about this. This is pretty crazy. I will see you guys in the next video. That's all I got. Yeah, almost. So yeah, basically congratulations. If you hated these bans and they were gonna drive you from the game, congratulations, you done won something. The other part though is if you sold cards because of this ban list, I don't know what to tell you. There's different sides to this. Some people wanted to get rid of cards they can no longer hold, like alternate Namis, but it just kind of weird. They said that these changes could be changed at any time or reverted with a future list or a future set. If you tried to sell your alternate Namis for full price because you knew they were getting banned, you're hoping you'd sell to somebody who didn't know the info, I mean, you kind of got burnt. But you know, this is neither here nor there. Changes happen. Some people are going to be upset about this regardless. You can never please everybody in the card game community. It's just not possible. So I do wonder how this is going to play out. I am very, very, very curious, and I want to see your reactions in the comments. I do want to. So that being said, now I'm going to tie it up. Like I said, if we can get this video to 100 likes, if you guys could just check out the link tree, see what you like, maybe join the Discord so we can talk about more stuff even between videos, and check out the Patreon if you like. I'm going to put previews of most of the articles I post up. So in a day or two, we're going to get a 3-page preview of Purple Luffy's deep dive, and I hope you guys enjoy that. So thanks. I will see you guys in the next video, and let's move over to the Patreon spotlight. All right, just like I said before, this is just a place where we appreciate the members that help my channel go vroom vroom. Any contribution is a lovely contribution, but I wanted to honor everybody that does go the extra mile to help me on this little stint. So if you're interested, if you want to help support the channel, if you want some content that's not going to be on this channel plus additional perks, just go over to my tiers on Patreon, check it out, see what works for you, and yeah, join the Unix fam on an even deeper level. So I want to thank everybody that's on here. I want to thank everybody that even takes a look, and there will be more articles and content coming soon. You guys have a great day. Bye.